And we're back, everybody. It's your host, Darren Carter, the party starter. Hope all is well. Dates out the gates. I will be in Dallas, Texas, July 18th through the 21st. El Monte, California, July 26th. I will be in Bakersfield, August 2nd at Tembler Brewing Company. And right now we're going to call Mr. Mike Black. Mike Black.
Hello.
Hello, there he is, Mr. Mike Black.
Pocket Party.
Hello, America. How are you?
America's good, and so is Mike Black.
Damn right.
Damn right. Dude, you got that great name, Mike Black. It sounds like a fictional name.
It does. It's not. It's my actual name, but it does sound made up.
You know what I mean? It has the "k" sound. Mike Black.
Yeah. It sounds like a villain in a comic book or something.
I know. Oh, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
If you and I asked my son this question too. If you were to have any superhero powers, what would it be?
I think the best one to get, the most practical one to get, is the one Wolverine has, where it's just called a healing factor. And so you are constantly healing. Like if you get, like let's say you like accidentally chopped off your finger,
Yikes.
It would grow back in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And, if you got cancer, it would go away. If you got, COVID, it would cure itself in seconds. And it not only makes you stronger and healthier, but it also slows down your aging dramatically. So, like, the character of Wolverine is about 200 years old, but he looks like he's about 35. So I think that would be the best one. If you could only pick one thing.
Yeah.
It makes it pretty much unkillable,
Dude, I haven't asked that many people, but I've asked about 4 or 5 people, and they almost all say they want to be invisible.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons, well, I think we know the main reason. Maybe you don't. Maybe you do. I don't know. The main reason is, I guess it just because I don't do too much thinking about this. So
Yeah.
So right away I was like, oh, I'd like to be invisible so I could be in the women's locker room, because I think it just goes back to like being like 12, 13, 14. Like that's probably the last time I thought of that question and being a superhero.
Right.
And also, yeah. And when I was growing up, Porky's was a big movie where like,
oh God,
they could like look and watch like all these girls they had crushes on, take showers.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
All the movies we were raised on were basically like instruction manuals on how to be a pervert.
Right. Exactly. Like.
And it's like, everyone's like, oh, why are they giving men so much crap now? It's like, I'm surprised it didn't happen 20 years ago.
Right. I know.
But like, it is interesting though. If you ask someone what their superpower is, it's a pretty good litmus test for what their personality is like.
Yeah. I guess, yeah.
They're just really boring and didn't think much about it. Like a lot of people, if you ask them, they'll go, I want to fly.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's the dumbest power. We have planes.
Well, here's the thing, because
the amount of bugs you would get.
My gosh, I know. When you really think these things logical, because you're gonna want to fly faster and faster. At first, you might start out like, oh, let me just go like 10 miles. Let me go a little faster than walking, and then okay, let me go a little faster than running, and let me go a little higher than I would. You know what I mean? And then you just next thing you know, you're like.
Pretty soon you're freezing to death and covered in bugs.
You might slam into like an overpass or some kind of,
or a jet, or
a hangar that you didn't realize, some clothesline that's out there, or some kind of
right, yeah,
something you didn't see, like
a bald eagle thinks you're challenging it, and
exactly. I'm like
staring into you.
I know. It's like I'd be like, hey, I know I'm bald up there, but maybe I should stop shaving before I fly around.
Right? Yeah, it's the dumbest power, and everybody thinks it's great.
Dude, the more I thought about, because at first my first reaction was like, yeah, I'd be naked, and then or not me being naked, but I'd like to be invisible, women's. But then as soon as I said that, I was like, Yeah, you know what? It just doesn't have the same effect now. It's one thing when you're like, you've never seen a naked woman. You're still in that puberty.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It's not quite as interesting as it used to be.
Yeah, as it was back in the 80s. You know what I mean? Like when you're growing up. And then also, like...
I don't know if you saw on Saturday Night Live when Patrick Swayze hosted. It was one of the best Saturday Night Lives ever. It's the one with the Chippendales.
Oh, I love that episode. I love that sketch, yeah.
But they did what Ghost would have really been like.
Oh, really?
And it's him in the apartment, and Demi Moore is like farting and picking her nose.
Oh, gosh.
She doesn't think anyone's around, and he's just watching her, just being really gross.
That's hilarious. Because, yeah, exactly. Like, I was thinking about that. I was like, well, now, obviously, I don't want to be looking at, kids in the shower. So then I was like, and then again I was like, well, then I'd be looking at women my own age, and I don't want to see women in their 50s in the shower.
They don't want to see women in the 50s in their shower.
Yeah, and also it's like, you're just taking a shower, and I don't really want to see that. So then I switched my answer. I was like, you know what? I don't really. It's not really. I don't want to be invisible. Like,
invisible would be cool to like if. It'd be cool and a nightmare if you were a paranoid person to like turn and see if people were talking about you.
Oh God. Oh yeah. Like if you're I'll see you guys later, and then you just snap your fingers and you're still in the room listening. What's happening? You guys talking shit on me? What's that?
Yeah. And it's all shit you don't want to hear. It's like you don't want to know that stuff. I heard he thinks he's invisible. What a turd!
Yeah, you should tell people that you're invisible, because they'll never. How would they prove it? Like, no, we literally saw you walk down the street. But so
there's a great movie called Amazon Women on the Moon.
Oh yeah,
it's like an anthology of a bunch of different like short comedy sketches, but one of them was like this bar, and a guy looks out the window and he goes, "Ah, crap," and everyone goes, "What?" It's the Invisible Man again. Ed Begley Jr. Plays the Invisible Man, but he comes in and he's just totally naked.
Oh, gosh.
And like, did that door just open by itself?
Yeah.
Oh, how unsettling. Oh, look, the darts are moving over to the dartboard, because they all just... He's just like the town lunatic, and he's not invisible at all, and they all just put up with it.
That's hilarious. I asked my wife, because I want to know what she would say, and she said she would want to be invisible, but for a completely different. It wasn't to like Lear in the men's locker room. She said hers would be to be invisible, so predators couldn't get her. Like creeps like us.
I lost you there.
So predators couldn't get her. So creeps like most of me and my friends.
Darren, I'm not hearing you at all.
Oh damn!
I have you on mute, or you have me.
Did I lose you?
Something.
Oh, hello.
Got you now.
Got me now. I don't know what happened, but yes, my wife said she'd like to be invisible. That way, she could be invisible from predators and creeps. Because she knows any guy that has the ability to be invisible is going to be like popping up in the bathroom.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Women would just be like, "I'm going to go invisible anytime I'm naked," just so no creeps are like spying on me.
It would be interesting if you could be invisible to just anyone that you selected.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, just if you think someone's kind of a creep, just, okay, they can't see me anymore. Everyone else can, but they can't.
Right.
Just kind of like eye blocking them,
Oh, yeah, like just be invisible to like one person.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes so-and-so. I'm going to be invisible.
Or like a group, like, if a bunch of buttholes were at a bar or something. I'm invisible to those guys.
Yeah, I think mine would be, and I know you said it's not very creative, but I think I would want to fly, but I have a fear of heights.
Right.
And so I think I would only want to fly maybe like a few inches above the ground.
Yeah, that's a good.
That's more like a floating, like a hovering kind of.
So basically what you want is a skateboard.
Yes. Yeah.
We can just get you a skateboard. It's not that hard to. Or one of those people movers that they have now. You can just rent one of those anytime.
Oh, that's funny. Like just a people. Oh yeah, like when I'm at the Denver airport.
Those little scooters, yeah. You know, the ones that are all over the place now that they have. They're like old go-karts that security guards used to have, but now.
Oh yeah, I was thinking of the people mover, like the moving sidewalk at the.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they have them at every airport, but Denver, for some reason, it seems like they're like extra long and they really move you through that airport.
But now you can get one of those little zip around, the zippy zips, whatever they're called.
Yeah, I've never once done it. I've never put my credit card and hopped on a scooter or a bird or whatever and done that. Have you ever done that?
No, I don't want to be on one of those. But people seem to love them that do it, you know.
They do. So let's talk about some country bumpkin activities I've done. Hey guys, do me a favor, subscribe to this podcast. I know you're listening, but hit subscribe. That way when a new episode comes out, it'll be there waiting for you. All right? And if you want to give us a little donation, DarrenCarter.com, hit that PayPal button. Or if you're into Venmo, it's at Darren Carter Comic on Venmo. I'm also on the Cash App, $, Darren Carter Comic. But the best thing you can do is subscribe. That way the new episode will be waiting for you. And thanks again for checking us out and starting that party. So let's do it right now. Let's start that party in your ear hole. We went back to the LA County Fair.
Nice. And, is that thing just on all the time?
It's on all. No, but I think it's about like a month long. It's like dude. There was a lady. My wife went and I go, hey, let's go find it. I went because I ordered some food. I go find a table, and so we joined another like family, and there was a local lady, like a retired cholo type lady, and her two daughters, like a lot of makeup. They were very friendly, but like a lot of like over the top, like almost like the Addams Family type makeup. Mm-hmm. And the mom said that it was her 13th time going to the fair this year. Like she's like a regular at the fair.
So wait, it's just 1 month long though?
I believe so. Yeah.
Once a year, or is it?
And they moved it. It used to be in the hot time of the year, like August, and then they moved it to May.
Yeah. It just seems like you're always going to the country fair.
Dude, you know what it is? Time flies. It's like you're like, what? It's summertime already. It's Christmas already. We just did a podcast about Halloween. That's what I think it is. As we've gotten older, it's like. But then again, I will say I do go to a lot of fairs. We go to the LA County Fair, the Orange County Fair, the Ventura County Fair.
That's what it is. You're always at a fair. It's just not always the same one.
I know exactly. You're like, dude. But
did the hog that you voted for win or whatever?
Yeah, I know. Every time you hear a bunch of screaming and stuff, and it's not coming from the mid-fair carnival area, the midway, it's usually because there's a pig race happening.
Oh God!
Like,
I can't imagine anything worse.
I know. We're like, oh, we don't get good seats. We'll catch it at the OC fair. But
what's funny is this is all the kind of stuff that if there's ever an apocalypse, everyone will be doing for fun. Mm-hmm. Because we won't have electricity anymore. So
dude, totally. Like I was, like one of the most interesting parts of the fair for me anyways, because I'm sure not for my son because he likes the rides, but I go, come on, let's go check out the animal exhibits. And then we literally just watched some like goats like headbutt each other for a half hour.
Wow.
They like to just headbutt each other. Well, it might have been closer to 15 minutes, but it seemed like a half hour.
Yeah, they are really into that.
Yeah, I don't know why, but they are. But so anyways, we did that. That was the fair. That was pretty fun. It's not for some reason it wasn't as fun as in previous years. Maybe because I'm getting a little used to it, and I'm starting to become a regular there. But and this one guy, he was a t-shirt salesman, and you know how comedians sell their merch after the show.
I've heard of that. Yeah,
I learned a lot by watching this guy of what I don't want to do. Because he was definitely like phony friendly to people, and the moment he knew they weren't gonna buy anything, he just instantly cut them off.
Yeah.
Like I was kind of hanging back, and I was like, because some of his T-shirts were kind of funny, like, oh, that's kind of funny. Oh, yeah, yeah. And then this guy was kind of leafing through his book, and then he goes, oh, do you like to read? And the guy goes, yeah, I like to read. And he goes, that's my third book. I have 1 through 6. And by the way, you buy one, I give you a big, huge discount. You can get the bundle package. And the guy's like, I don't know if I can really read like 6 books. And the minute he sensed that, he just moved on from the guy. And he's like, hello, lady, how are you? And then he kept saying this thing. He goes, T-shirts, ice cold T-shirts. Get them while they're cold. Get them while they're T-shirts.
Ugh.
Yeah, and it was kind of funny the first time I heard it, but then I realized that was one of his techniques. Like, anytime he wanted to cut somebody off, he would say that.
Yeah.
Like somebody would say, hey, I was wondering, okay, all right, we don't have time for that, but I want to know, T-shirts. And I was like, oh, my God.
He's probably just tired of dealing with people. I don't know if you've ever worked the other end of that, but people ask some stupid questions when you're trying to sell merch like that.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't do that, if you don't like cut them off while other people are ready to buy your thing and pay you, they'll be just there going, do you take Apple Pay? And blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I was wondering if I were to buy 5 T-shirts, could I possibly get a... Yeah, you're just like, dude.
Meanwhile, you're just bleeding money, that like other people could be giving you.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, and in fact, and so I like that he threw the sizes out real fast. Like he'd be like, "We got large and extra large, because he knew that was a dumb question. And people would be like, "Do you have an extra medium? Is there a fitting room?
Yeah.
And do you have a bag?"
Right. Yeah.
So I did learn that from him, but I learned learn what the guy did, but I already kind of learned that too. But then don't do those certain mistakes. But anyways,
there is a nice way to do that to like avoid the looky-loos that aren't going to buy anything. But,
yeah. Yeah, that was when I realized like I don't like this exhibit hall. Like I was like, I'm walking the gauntlet. Everyone's trying to sell something. Like it was. Like you couldn't, if you walk by them, that's when they'd bug you, and you're like, and some were aggressive and some were cool. I like the ones that were cool, or just wouldn't even, try to bug you or nothing. But
I went to a show in Burbank, a Burbank vintage toy show.
Oh, nice.
Everyone there was very, very cool, except for one guy who literally chased 2 women away from his booth.
Really?
Don't you ladies want to buy some robots? They clearly did not. But he was after them until they finally got away from him.
Yeah, another country bumpkin activity I did. I got to perform at the Artichoke Festival up in Monterey, California. Yeah, dude.
You're the key speaker.
That's right. I was the headliner. Yeah. The Artichoke Festival.
Wow.
Dude, I got to be honest, and you know me, I was looking forward to this gig.
Yeah.
Here's the bummer. Good news, bad news. Good news, the show went great. It was fantastic. The bad news, apparently our event was kicking off the festival the night before, so we got to perform in this really cool hall and with great sound system and lights, and there was a camera, recording it and documenting it, which hopefully I'll be getting a copy of, hopefully. And but the thing is, because we kicked it off, there weren't any artichokes. Like so I was looking forward to eating artichokes for like 6 months when I booked this thing. And then we get there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it starts tomorrow." So from the moment I parked the car, you're walking through the Monterey County Fairgrounds, and you're walking past all the exhibits, but they're all kind of closed, and it was just people with their tents, and it kind of had the feeling of like a farmer's market or something, but like a big farmer's market, artichoke jerky, artichoke ice cream, artichoke, all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, artichokes are called, I guess, thistles. So there's a lot of puns. Like there was a t-shirt that said, "This'll be fun." Like THISTLE.
Oh, God.
This'll be fun. I was like, dude, I can totally do this. I can kill at this thing. I can start their party.
Did you try artichoke ice cream?
That's what I'm saying. None of it was available because they were just setting it up for the next day. We were kicking it off, but it wasn't open. So,
okay.
So I was looking forward to artichokes, believe it or not. And then they didn't have any, and I was like, dang it. But I will say this: I went to lunch today. I had lunch today with our buddy Fraser Smith. And,
Yeah.
yeah, dude. And for the appetizer, I got artichoke. I got an artichoke. And it was,
Just a raw artichoke or what?
yeah, like a steamed artichoke with the aioli, and then you peel it off. Let me ask you a question: Are you an artichoke? Are you an artichoke guy?
Have we met before, Darren?
I don't think you like. I would say I would not take you as an artichoke guy.
I'm generally not, but there is a thing, and some places do it great, and other places do it terribly. But an artichoke cheese dip,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of those if they're done right. What's not Public House, but Brew House?
Oh, yeah.
The
BJ's Brew House, that one, or the Yard House.
Yard House, that's who it is. They used to do a really, really good one, and then they changed it up. And but at the time they did a good one, I would eat a whole one by myself and with no shame whatsoever. It was so good.
Nice.
So I like artichokes in certain settings, but not.
Yeah, the thing that I don't like about artichokes, which is also the same thing I don't like about sunflower seeds. It's a lot of work for not a lot of payoff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're peeling it, you're scraping it on your teeth, you're dipping it, but there's not. It's you got to do it when you're not that hungry.
Yeah, you have to do a whole lot of jumping through hoops for a thing that doesn't taste all that great.
Right. Yeah, it's fun. It's like a fun food. Like, okay, I'm gonna have a real meal, but then I'm gonna kind of, you know what I mean? Like, dip this thing, scrape it. Like, I'm not. Don't do it when you just when you're starving. Don't do that.
Right. No, absolutely not for that.
Of course, I did my. I like my women like I like my, and I have them. They yell out stuff, and the very first suggestion was artichoke.
Okay.
I knew it was coming, so I was prepared. I said something like, I like my women like I like my artichoke with a good heart. And it killed. By the way, if you said anything, I noticed they were very sensitive about artichokes. Like I made, I told a couple of jokes, and they kind of like groaned and booed.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh gosh, okay, they take their shit serious out here. Like
it's kind of like the Swifties. There's no joking about it.
Totally. Yeah, they'll come after you like Beyonce's Beehive, Yeah.
Zero tolerance.
Because I did some joke about, how the whole thing about basic, and I give different examples. Here's how to tell if you're basic, and then I go, you call Target Target or whatever, just these little examples. Yeah. And I said, you use Miracle Whip instead of mayonnaise with your artichoke dip. And they were like, boo. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like,
we all use Miracle Whip.
Yeah, because I prefer mayonnaise, so I thought it would be. I was like, okay. I was like, let me just keep it moving.
Yeah. There were probably people from Miracle Whip there.
Oh yeah, they're representing. They're. By the way, here's the thing. I wanted to tell you this. This is something a trip that I just found out because I did a little bit of research when I did this Artichoke Festival, and here's an article. I'm gonna. The headline: The bizarre connection between artichokes and the mafia.
Okay, what is that?
Yeah. Okay, so apparently there was a farmer back in the 1920s. They would grow artichokes in Salinas, California, right? That's where they would grow them, like up there. And then they would ship them to New York. So out here, people are buying them for like a nickel, 5 cents. Out there, they could sell these artichokes for like 50 cents.
Oh, okay.
And so this guy, they called him the Artichoke King, and he would like strong arm these people, and it says, here we go. In New York City, the underboss of the Morello crime family, Ciro Terranova, saw an opportunity. Earning himself the title Artichoke King, he sent his thugs to coerce importers to sell him artichokes at a discount rate. Then he would resell them for twice the amount. His reign of terror even extended beyond the Big Apple. Yeah, he would intimidate farmers with the threat of aerial gas bombings if they refused.
God.
Yeah, he had like these different goons, and they would threaten people, and
It sounds like he had an artichoke hold on front.
Yeah, sounded like he had a bad heart and an artichoke hold.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anywho, I thought that was I was like, damn, man, that's crazy. Like
That is nuts.
that is.
A guy bothered to do that.
I know. It's like, yeah, because I guess a lot of like artichokes were not popular in most parts of the country. Like they were popular in California because that's where they grow them, and then people would take their time to show them. Here's how you prepare it. Here's what you do. But most places were like, it looks funny, and how do you eat it? And they would just ignore it. But I guess like in New York, there's a lot of Italians and Greeks, and they were familiar with the diet, so there was more of a demand out there.
That is crazy.
It's crazy, man. Did you guys grow up eating artichokes?
No.
Oh, wow. See, I did, but I'm from California, so.
I lived in Colorado where I don't think the agriculture there was set up for artichokes. It was, it was like freezing cold.
Yeah.
Place. So it was like, I don't even know, potatoes maybe. I don't really know what we grew.
Oh.
Locally.
My wife bought potatoes recently, and surprisingly, it's something you can get a lot of for not that much money.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah. I think she was saying, and I could be wrong. Yeah, I think she said it was like 10 pounds for like $1.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's how salt used to be, and sugar. It's just a matter of time, though, till they go, oh, people like these.
Yeah, they like these. I know, right?
Till big potato gets there.
Yeah, I got a question. How do you? We're going to talk about navigation. When you need to get around, and what navigation? What do you use? What app, or how do you get somewhere?
I just use the one on my iPhone. It's simply called Maps. And I know it's not the best. I know Google Maps is supposed to be better, or Waze, or any of that stuff, but it's dependable enough, and I don't want to like download all the other apps.
Does it talk to you like if you're driving? Will it say, exit 352, head west, turn right in a quarter mile? Like it gives you like lots of prompts.
Yeah, and what I don't like, and I think it's the same on all of them, is it'll say something like, rather than take this exit or take the next exit, it'll say, like, let's say you're exiting off the 110 onto the 5. It won't say, take the 5 north or take the 5 south. It'll say, take the Ventura Freeway.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, well, I don't know where Ventura is. I don't know.
Yeah.
What I want, like which direction on the Ventura Freeway I want,
Oh yeah, the San Diego Freeway, the Ventura Freeway, the Bob Marley Junction. You're like, what are you talking about?
Say 5 north or 5 south, because it's not giving me that option. It's not saying Ventura Freeway. It's saying north or south.
Yeah. So my buddy, I've known him for like 30 years. He picked me up from the airport, and then we drove down to Monterey, and it was interesting. He has an electric vehicle, which I don't. I have like just a regular car that you grew up with, like gas operated vehicle. So that was
like
for men. Yeah. And like I gotta be honest, dude. It was I like the way he drives. He's a good driver. Like he's not trying to speed or change lanes or da. But the part that was slightly annoying was a couple things that I found. I think electric vehicles would be good if you had a second car. But if that's your only car, that could be a pain, because at one point we had to pull over and let the damn thing charge for about 25 minutes.
Oh,
imagine you're on your way to a gig and you're like, oh wait, I gotta like let this thing, and also it was hot, and we couldn't turn the air conditioning on because apparently that uses more battery life. And then
so what's the point of even having it? Now, is this a full-on electric car or a hybrid?
I believe it's 100% electric. So we didn't even have another option. It was like, but
he got the dumb technology.
Yeah, he's in the tech world, so he's one of those, like that's his thing. Like he's in the tech world. And he probably, he works for these companies. And they give him stock tips or not tips, but like, you buy into the company. And so he's a very modern like guy, you know what I mean? And, but so he's like, oh, I got the latest this and that. And it is pretty cool. But I'm like,
what's the top speed of his car?
That I don't even know, but I know like the whole ceiling is glass, so it was hot. So we had to, and I'm a redhead, a bald redhead at that. So I'm like, can we cover that? Like, so we had to cover, like pull this mesh thing or whatever. So there, and
that sounds awful.
It was funny because he has a giant TV screen in the, like the dashboard or whatever, so you could see like the map and the temperature and how much charge is left and all this kind of nonsense. But it was interesting. He was like, and then we picked his girlfriend up, and he's like, oh yeah, we have to go 72 miles, but we should be good because I'm charged for like to go 90 miles. He's like, he goes
72 miles in an oven.
Yeah, he's like, it just depends on how much she weighs with her and her luggage, because apparently that's another factor. Like it drains the battery. Yeah, I was like, these are little.
That thing is a nightmare,
dude. It was a nightmare, and it was very cool though, because we, like he's like doing all this modern stuff. Like he's like, Siri, play the top 10 top 10 music. So like the music was like top 10, So it was like. If it was just he and I'm sure he would have been cool. It's like, hey, can we put on Metallica or something, But but he's like, because he kind of like pointed with his eyes, like he's like, well, she's back there, like because he wanted his girl to be happy too. So we had like this top 10 music going, and what he was cool about, like, hey, if there's anything comes on, you could go ahead and like skip it or give it a thumbs down. so that was cool. And I was trying not to be, like,
can I do that for this car?
Exactly. Can I give this? Yeah, but I listen. I have to. I'm very thankful, grateful that, like I said, he picked me up from the airport, drove us with them. So I can't. You know what I mean? But I definitely was.
If he had to pick you up, you would have had to ride on the bus.
Oh, dude. I would have rented. I probably would have rented a car, but or I don't know. But still, it was like I was like, yeah, that'd be fun, man. We'll hang out. So yeah, we're in this car, and then it would do the calculation of how much charge is left, and this and that, and it was also kind of funny because we switched it from air conditioner, and then that's when I think he realized like we're losing power to like, because you'd roll the windows down and it was still in the 80s. Then there's another zone where it's like fresh air from outside, so it's basically like it's pulling air in, but it's not like really cooling it off.
Right.
But it drops in degrees when you go from San Jose to Monterey because of the sea air. So he's like, oh, look, it's 83. And then we drive and we're all hot. He's like, oh, now we're in 79. Any second, we're going to be wearing sweaters. And it finally got into like the low 70s. And then I think he turned the AC on. And then we charged it up. And we were good to go. But it was like, man, this is kind of a pain. Like,
yeah, once it got into the 70s, he turned the air conditioner on.
Exactly.
I would have pushed him out of the car.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. Do you? And what's interesting is like, how you're in your own world. Like you drive around, you don't have to really be considerate of others. Like you play what you want to play. You roll your window down. You do whatever you want to do. When you're with other people, you have to,
I'm joking around, of course, but you want to be accommodating and friendly when someone does something like that for you. But
yeah.
Also, it's like, how much of their poor planning do you have to endure?
Yeah, and also his map was a totally different operating system than I'm used to, and so no offense to my friend, but he doesn't have the best sense of direction.
Right.
And it was, to me, it was zoomed in way too much. I like to zoom out a little bit, that way I know it's ahead, and it'll say like, like, oh, good, when the road forks, we're gonna go right. Like, but it was so he had it so zoomed in that we almost passed our exit a few times, and then he had the voice off. That's why I asked you if the voice is on. The voice is off, and I'm like, dude, you got to turn the voice on.
Yeah.
And so at one point, I was, I just turned on what I'm used to, and I'm used to Waze. I'm just used to it. So I go, let me just turn Waze on, and then he somehow turned something where the voice came back on. So now it was like competing navigation system voices. Like,
oh God.
Yeah, but I only did it on the way back to the airport because I go, dude, I don't want to get lost on the way to the airport. Like,
Yeah.
It's one thing if you get lost in normal life. Okay, we're 10 minutes out of the way, but once you're on the airport, you're like, this could get weird. I don't want to,
So you're boiling to death and two robots are yelling at you?
Exactly. Yeah, the Waze voice that I have is a lot more harsh. It's a lot more direct, like to the point. You know what I mean? Like 1 mile, turn right. And his was, he had that setting where it was like an Indian English British accent. And it was more like wishy washy. It would say like about. His was like and about a quarter of mile. Or whatever, and I'm like, forget that about. Like, we need to know. Like,
we need to know where we're going.
Like, turn left now at Chestnut.
Yeah, mine does the thing where it goes, make a slight left.
Oh, screw that. Yeah.
What is a slight left? Which street am I going on?
Right.
I'm gonna slightly kill a pedestrian this way.
A slight left, a slight right. Bear left. What does bear mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what bear is.
Tell me.
I don't bear.
Yeah, man. So that was pretty interesting. I like I like that he's a good driver, though. I like he would take his, because that's another thing that can be scary is when people like floor it and they go all fast, they change lanes without signaling. I've had friends that do that, and I'm like, I'm not going to get in the car with them again.
Yeah.
I remember one time I did a show in Nebraska, and the promoter had sent somebody, and I'm wondering if the guy had been drinking at the event before he went to pick me up, because he picked me up and he was driving a little too fast. And then when we got off the exit, he hit the brakes and it kind of skidded out into the intersection a little bit as an 18-wheeler went by. And it was a little too close for comfort for me. And he goes, yeah, damn, I almost killed the comedian. And I'm like, dipshit, you're in the car too.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, so for that one, I took a cab back the next day. I was like, I don't need you and your friends like giving me rides.
Yeah, I don't want hee-haw driving me around.
Exactly. There was a guy. If you ever watched Hee Haw, his name was String Bean, and he had a thing where he would pull his shirt way down to his knees and pull his pants down to his knees, but his shirt made him look like he had a super long torso.
Okay.
And I was reading this article. He actually he was talking about on the way to a gig, and the promoter was speeding, and he goes, I'd rather have them say String Bean was late than the late String Bean. That was his way of saying, like, drive cautiously, please.
Yeah, I get it. I don't like it, but I get it. I have a feeling I wouldn't get along with String Bean.
With String Bean?
In general. Yeah.
I know.
We're not going to be best friends.
I know. Let's do an update with my son, Oz the Bass Boss.
Yeah, what's he up to?
Well, his summer is out, and they finished 10th grade. He finished 10th grade. Now he's off into 11th, and it's great because now he's been uploading a couple of music videos already, like on Instagram and YouTube, and they're getting thousands of views, and it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And he's also jamming with his buddies. Like today, he and his friends got together and they jammed, and Austin plays bass, and then his other buddy plays guitar, and the other friend plays drums, and they filmed one at the library. I guess the library every year at the end of the year lets them do like a talent show or something. And so they did "Creeping Death" in the library, the Metallica song. And so you see all these kids are like going, da na 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 na, die, 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 die. And I thought that was really sweet. And by the way, your mom commented on one of the videos, so that was very sweet of your mother. Tell her I said thank you, thank you, thank you. She said that nice. Austin has a wonderful bass voice.
Oh, that's very cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so
that's hilarious that they were playing Metallica at the school library.
Yeah, he did that, and then they went to a friend's house and filmed something in the garage, and it was what was that other song by They Do What They Tell You. What's that song? They Do What They Tell You.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. They Do What They
Rage
Tell You.
Against the Machine.
Yes. Rage Against the Machine. Oh yeah, and so that video is called Teenage Rage Against the Machine. Yeah. Yeah. That was
That's really cool.
it's cool, man. It's neat to see him like have something he's passionate about, that he's good at, that he's able to like practice and
Yeah.
play. Like I see him playing and practicing throughout the day, and then right now he went exercising with my wife, and then they'll come back and he'll probably play again. And it's like, to have that outlet, especially at such a young age, and that's something that always.
And that adults are more supportive of that now. Like, if you'd played either of those songs in high school when I was a kid in the library, they would have kicked you out.
Oh yeah.
And now everyone's like super supportive, and I just really like seeing that.
I know, it's cool, man. It's definitely cool. I love seeing him do it, and I'm like, man, I wish I had that ability.
Yeah.
That was a question somebody asked me at the Artichoke Festival. They go, and by the way, it's a great way as creators, as comedians, at the end of your set, if you don't ask the audience, do you have any questions? And you never know what they're going to say, and then maybe you could take that clip and have it go viral. But this lady, she asked me, she goes, how did you learn to beatbox? And what made you want to do it? And I thought, that's a good question, and I told her, I said, I think I have like ADD or whatever, and I never had the focus and concentration to learn an actual instrument. But I remember, like, I would hear a song on the radio, especially when I was growing up, I remember when I first discovered rap, AKA hip hop. And I just thought it was like the coolest music. Like I'd never heard anything like that. It was, and maybe we were a little bit behind the times in Fresno, but I remember being like, I heard like Rapper's Delight and all those kind of songs, and Houdini.
Yeah.
And this is even before like Run DMC and LL Cool J and those guys. I used to hear,
this was like Sugar Hill Gang. And
Sugar. It was like from 81 probably to about 83. There's like these other groups, like Africa Bambaataa or whoever. A lot of times I didn't even know the names of the group. I just knew the songs. Like this group called Nucleus, jam on it, jam on it, jam on it, wiki, jam on it. Or rock, planet rock. I loved all that stuff. And like back then, I feel like the rap was because they called it rap, and it was they would tell like funny stories. Like it was more like along the lines of almost like a comedian. You know what I mean? There'd be a story like, bam, or like remember like Run DMC, bam, you got beat, you be illin'. And remember that? Like, do you remember any songs by Houdini? Friends, how many of us have them? Friends.
Yeah, I remember all that stuff. Yeah,
it was so good. So she asked me how I learned to beatbox, and I love the Fat Boys. They'd be like, fat, the Fat Boys are back.
Yeah.
But the song that really got me to beatbox was the Beastie Boys, and I think it was that Paul Revere song, because I just loved the beat of it, and I just kept practicing it, and it's the one that would go. That one about that baseball bat, and the beer was getting flat. It was that song.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I remember, and I was like, wow, people were like, you're good at that. And I know there's people that can really beatbox incredible, but for the time, for my skill level, I just thought it was entertaining. Anywhere I went, it was like a radio was with me when I walked to school, or, I didn't have to have a Walkman or whatever. I could just literally make those noises, That's how I kind of discovered it.
And I think generally you like making noises.
I think you're right.
Like, I've heard you tell stories and you'll throw a sound effect in here and there, and it's like, oh yeah, he just likes.
You're right. Noise. Like, yeah, they kind of take the place of words, because I'll be like, and then this happened, and then the guy went, and then this guy jumped on a horse. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but not really like that. But yeah. But in the real world, I really do that. Like those noises just kind of come out, and then.
You're like that guy on Sesame Street that when he orders, it's like, I would like a baba,
Yeah. That's funny. Do you have any of those kind of skills? Like, do you have any like party tricks or parlor tricks?
I can. A lot of it is like stuff I learned on Mr. Wizard. Like I can balance 2 toothpicks with 2 forks on top of them, and it'll look like the forks are floating, and that sort of stuff. And I'll do it the next time we do like an on-camera one.
Oh, that's cool. So
but a lot of stuff. I'm pretty good mimic. Like if if I know someone's voice, I can usually do it pretty well. And yeah, that sort of stuff. I'm very hand-eye coordinated, so I'm really good at video games, that sort of thing.
Do you juggle?
No, I don't. I don't like juggling, so I had no interest in it.
Yeah, there's like no interest in it.
That, like a lot of comedians do that. In my mind, you know how like you'll just kind of make up rules for yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of comedians do things that I think, like, they juggle or they do magic or that sort of thing, and to me I'm like, that's more of a clown than a comedian.
Yeah.
Like, clowns do magic, and it's like, more power to all the ones who do it, but I was like, for me personally, I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to do other stuff.
Yeah, I learned to juggle like one Christmas break back when I was like in 8th grade. I remember just that was a good memory, but that's kind of where it stayed. I never wanted to ever do it on stage because it's not even. I'm not.
To me, also,
yeah,
it's the kind of thing a guy who owns a ferret would do.
Yes, right.
Like that in a unicycle. Like, I don't want to learn to ride a unicycle.
Dude, I learned to ride a unicycle. Your name, everything. These are like shots fired over here.
Those are the things
fired.
that guy does. He does that, and he wears like a jester hat and stuff.
Oh, that's funny. No, I remember somebody gave us a unicycle back when I was a kid, and it had a flat tire, and it was perfect because then you wouldn't like, it didn't roll that good. And I would practice the unicycle on the grass in the backyard, hanging onto the fence for dear life. And eventually I got my balance, and I'm like, oh, I could ride this unicycle, but I could only go forward. I never learned how to like stand still or go backwards. I could pretty much jump on a unicycle and just go away, like if it had a flat tire
to go with it.
Right. I know. And then I was thinking like, man, I want to learn how to juggle. So, and I have a very fond memory of like learning how to juggle Christmas break, junior high school, and listening to Dr. Demento tapes. So it was like my room was a real party, man. I'm telling you. It was like all this like novelty songs were being blasted out of my
I don't think a woman could even enter that area. Like, the force field is so strong.
I know. But I started with socks. I was like, oh, let me try one sock, 2 socks, and then let me throw this third one in, and then eventually I got it, and I was able to like juggle like oranges or tennis balls or whatever. And that's as far as it went, though. I never really, I just want to know, could I do it? Could I do it for 30 seconds? And that was it. I was like, all right, let's,
I was like, I'm just going to leave this to all the guys that go to Renaissance Festival professionally.
Here's something I did find out, though. Like, if you were to juggle 2 balls, you're with one hand, you're just throwing one up, and then right as it lands, you throw the other one up right as it lands, right? You get that concept, right?
That's a hot tip, Darren. Thanks.
Tip.
I would never have figured that out.
But here's a hot tip for you, dude. Here's a hot tip for you. But I mean, I know you're never going to use it. Neither will I, but because we're not into juggling.
So, someone listening might.
So, guys, if you can juggle a ball, like 2 balls with one hand, now take the other hand and learn to practice with your other hand, throwing it up. And that's how you literally juggle 4 balls. Because I talked to this juggler, and I told him I could do 2 ball, I could do 3, and I said 4. And he goes, oh, here's how you do it. And he goes, you just go the same hand. And he goes, but when you turn, I think he said sideways, he goes, it looks very impressive. Like, wow, look at all those balls. They're floating around. But he goes, it's just basically the same 2, up and down, up and down, up and down.
Look at those balls. That's what you want people saying.
Wow. When he does it sideways, there's the mystery is alive.
Look at the way he moves those balls with his hands.
Yeah. Anyways, I saw that and I was just like, okay. But yeah, I learned that back in the day. And let me ask you a question. Are you more impressed? Well, first of all, no offense to any of our friends in the business, but are you if you had to work for like a week, God, I love these guys that do this profession. So please don't take offense if you're listening.
Right.
We're not talking about you if you're listening. That means it means you're at the level where I like you. but and I respect you. But
Right. Yeah.
I would say when I started out in Fresno, growing up as a comedian, that was the room that was in Fresno at that time was a B room, so we didn't get like a lot of top notch talent coming through there.
Yeah.
So I would usually see awful magicians and awful jugglers. So let's say,
Right.
Mike, if you had to work for like 5 nights on the road somewhere with a magician or a juggler, what would you do?
Magician.
Oh shit!
Not even close.
Really?
Yeah, not even close.
Wow. Now, see,
A magician
I think
is
I would
just much
yeah.
more kin to a stand-up comedian than a juggler is.
Dude, that's fun. Well, if it was a comic magician, I like that. But if it's like a, look how cool I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see. I would say juggler
I'm not
because
wild about either option, but I would take magician way over juggler.
yeah. Well, I like the
I
juggler.
feel like the juggler would want you to be involved in their act.
Oh
and I
God.
don't want that.
But I think the thing that I think is cool about juggling, like about, is when they have that ability to like balance stuff. Where they're like check out this wheelbarrow that I put on my chin.
I guess. I mean,
Yeah. Magicians, here's the thing I absolutely hate, I can't stand, is card tricks. When they're like, pick a card. I don't even remember what card I picked. I could care less. It's like math. It gives me a headache. They're like, 3 of diamonds. I'm like, dude, was it? I don't know. It's like red. I don't know. I'm just like,
was it?
Was it? Who gives a shit? But I will say, I did work with the magician at the Comedy Magic Club, and dude, it was back when I used to wear a watch, and he took my watch off my wrist, and that blew me away. Like he was showing me some magic trick, and then I was like, oh, it's pretty. I was like pretty impressed. Like, oh, is it in this hand or that hand? All that stuff. Oh, it's that hand. Oh, wrong hand. Oh, there it is. Yeah. And then he goes, oh, one more thing, Darren. Is this your watch? And I was like, whoa.
And then you beat him up in the parking lot. Give me back my watch.
I know. Like, learn to juggle and I'll respect you. No.
Balance this on your chin.
Balance this on your chin. Bam! You start hitting him. No. But yeah. Anyways, Mike, listen, it was great having you on the podcast.
Always to talk to you. Buddy.
I see you're getting out there more. You're at the Comedy Store, which is like one of the best clubs in the entire world. But it's pretty. I'm always happy for you when I see that you're playing other spots.
Yeah, I'm trying to get out as much as I can and do other stuff. I'm doing the improv lab this week, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
How
about you? What do you got coming up?
Well, I got Dallas coming up, Dallas, Texas. I'm going to be in a room in El Monte, California. My Instagram has blown up lately, and so I want to thank all the new people who are finding me, you guys. If you found this podcast, thank you. I know as of this recording, it's 170,000 followers, 170,000.
Man,
dude, I was happy when I got past 10,000. So I mean, this is just a miracle, and I appreciate everyone I feel fantastic.
If each of them sent you a nickel, you'd never have to work again.
I know. Wow. Here's yeah. I'm afraid to do the math on my phone because it might disconnect the phone. But
right.
Yeah. Oh, dude, if each one sent $1, that'd be $170,000.
Yeah, the math checks out on that.
It does. Dude, there's a reason I play Artichoke Festivals. They look at the big brain.
Imagine if everyone that follows you came to the Artichoke Festival.
Oh my gosh, it would be like,
what is happening?
It's like the Rolling Stones are in town. That would be huge. It'd be like my own little Woodstock everywhere I go.
Yeah.
But I saw you. You know what? One of my favorite gigs is coming up. I get to go to one of my favorite towns is Bakersfield, and I saw that you and our buddies Craig Coleman and Matt Fulcheron got to go to Bakersfield.
Oh yeah, it was a blast. It was really fun. Great club out there, and it was really cool. Had a good time.
Dude, when I go to Bakersfield, I always go early. I like to get there really early, so there's no traffic, so I can get there by like 1, And I love going that way north because there's like usually not that much traffic if you leave early. You know, what time did you guys leave?
Oh God, me and Matt went out together, and we left at about 4, I think.
Oh, so that's for me. That's too late. You guys probably had a little bit of traffic, I guess. I don't know.
It wasn't too bad, but it was early enough because our show wasn't until 8, so plenty of time. And we got there at probably about 7.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, you got there. You got to the show, and see, I like to leave like 11, 11:30. That way, I'm there. I like to grab lunch there. I like to. There's a Western store every now and then I'll go to. They got like stuff that I haven't seen at any other like Western stores. I'm like, this is really cool. Yeah. And then I like going to Buck Owens Crystal Palace. You
tried to get us to go, and they were already booked solid.
Oh yeah, dude. It's it's like a special thing, you know. If you're not into it, it's like, hey, do you want to see statues of country artists? If you know, you're probably not gonna want to. But I like it though. I like, me. I like Bumpkin Activities. So I like seeing a statue of, Johnny Cash, Elvis Presley, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson. I love all that stuff. They got the gift shop. I love all that stuff. I like seeing the different like rhinestone costumes that have been worn by different country artists.
Yeah, it sounds like a hoot. I just I wasn't in charge of driving, so there's only...
if you and I ever do Bakersfield, I would love to have you go there with me.
Let's do it. Let's make it a thing.
Because that would be a thing. It's really cool. It's you guys can even look it up online. Buck Owens Crystal Palace, and there's this Cadillac with like the longhorn, like the steer horns on the hood. And it was made. It was made by Nudie. The Nudie suits, the designer, and There's like silver coin, like silver dollars all over. Anywhere you can put a silver dollar on this Cadillac, there's a silver dollar, and there's rawhide, and there's pistol grips for the door handles, and the legend has it he won it from Elvis Presley in a poker game.
Dang!
And that car is right above the bar, and it kind of sits like at an angle, so you can see inside the car and you can see it and. And then the food, they got like these biscuits that have like homemade honey butter. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Wow.
Yeah, but you have to get there right. They open right at 5, and sometimes when they have shows, it's hard to get a reservation. So I usually just get there right at 5, and I sit at the bar.
Well, let's do a show there.
I know, right? Enough of eating butter biscuits. Let's do.
Yeah. Just fill up on butter biscuits backstage and then come out to a show.
I know, just come out all... Oh, by the way, speaking of biscuits, I saw that I don't know if every single one's closing, but I read that Red Lobster is going to go out of business.
Yeah, so that's a blow to me. That's really going to be rough without a world without Cheddar Bay biscuits.
Damn. Man.
I don't know. I think some of them are still going to be in operation. But they also sell Cheddar Bay biscuits in stores.
Maybe they'll keep that going.
Hopefully they'll keep those going around,
Yeah. Man, I hate that when there's something that... I just don't like that, I guess it's part of getting older. Like, there was a certain, shoe that I liked, and then they stopped making it. I'm like, what the fuck? Or certain jeans, you're like, no! And then... You got to be, I guess, open to change or whatever, but it's just so annoying.
Yeah, it's like, I don't mind if there's something that comes along that replaces it, but I don't think there's going to be a new seafood place.
Right.
Like Red Lobster is now. Like, that's going to be a real vacuum,
Yeah, like that was a place that was like, has a lot of memories for people. It was just like a...
Like Long John Silver's is more like fast food seafood, so they're going to have to up their game, I think.
I know. Before we go, I want to give a shout out to Tobias.
Hey, Tobias.
Kevor Kazito. Thank you, buddy. He loves the podcast. Thank you so much. And also thank you to Christopher McCrae, a.k.a. Cardiff Chris. You guys are always big supporters of the podcast, and we appreciate you guys. And also the Miguel Romero. Thank you, Miguel Romero. But all right, buddy. Well, listen, man, have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Thanks for hopping on the Pocket Party podcast.
All right. Have a great one, Darren. Bye-bye.
You too, my man. Thank you. Look at you. You made it all the way through another episode. You guys were inching closer to episode 300. And I want to thank everybody for your support, for sharing the links, for letting people know about the Pocket Party. And if you go on YouTube, do us a favor. Give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment. And if you want to support the show, all the links are in the description, either on your audio device that you're listening to or on the YouTube channel. Or you know what? Go to my Instagram. Click the little link tree, and you'll see many, many ways to help out the show and whatnot. All right? Including Cameo. I do personal videos. Boom. And we're at rock bottom prices these days. So you can like hook one up and get one to your father for Father's Day or somebody for their birthday. Have a great rest of your day, you guys. Darren Carter, the party starter, helping you start that party in your ear holes.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, then listen to the Pocket Party.